For decades, the world watched China through the lens of a peaceful rise. It was an era defined by economic reform, global trade, and a focus on domestic prosperity. But the signal is changing. Recently, the signals coming out of Beijing have shifted. The narrative of economic growth at any cost is being replaced by something much more pointed: national security at any cost. This shift was made crystal clear during the two sessions, China's most important annual political meetings, where the government announced a 7.2% increase in military spending. This brings the official defense budget to roughly 1.6 trillion yuan, or about $230 billion. But that headline number is only the beginning of the story. Independent analysts estimate the real spending could reach over $470 billion when accounting for hidden R&D and the integration of civilian and military industries. The budget is built on three pillars. The first is personnel, funding the salaries and welfare of 2 million active duty troops, requiring competitive pay for new high-tech specialists. The most aggressive growth is in the equipment pillar. This is where the invisible funding flows into high-end manufacturing and the next generation of lethal hardware. To understand the scale of this bet, consider the context. China is currently grappling with a systemic property crisis that has wiped out trillions in household wealth. Real estate giants like Evergrande and Country Garden have defaulted on hundreds of billions in debt, and youth unemployment remains at record highs. Yet, military spending remains untouched. When defense growth nearly doubles public security spending, it signals a clear choice. Beijing believes military strength is now more critical to party survival than absolute economic performance. To see where this leads, we must look at the change in language regarding Taiwan. For years, the official phrasing was peaceful reunification. That has changed. In the latest report delivered by Premier Li Qiang, the word peaceful was notably absent. In the world of Beijing's highly scripted politics, there are no accidents. The removal of that one word is being backed by cold, hard cash. The budget now prioritizes long-range strike capabilities and the hardware needed for a potential invasion. Strategic analysts agree. The military option is no longer a distant backup. It is being actively funded, refined, and placed on the front burner of Beijing's strategy. But it's not just about traditional hardware. China is preparing for what it calls intelligentized warfare, a shift toward AI-led operations on every front. We've seen demonstrations of single operators controlling over 200 fixed-wing drones simultaneously. These aren't just remote-controlled, they are autonomous. These swarms use Shark-Pack autonomous negotiation algorithms to coordinate reconnaissance and strike missions without constant human input. It is the new face of lethality. The goal is what the PLA calls metaverse war, an integrated battlefield where physical, virtual, and cognitive domains are unified under AI control. A critical focus is anti-jamming research. These drones are being built to stay coordinated even when electronic interference severs their link to human command. This surge in spending is heavily concentrated on two main branches, the PLA rocket force and the Navy. We are witnessing the world's largest Navy expanding even further. By ship count, China now possesses the largest Navy on Earth, but it's the quality of the new fleet that is catching the attention of every naval strategist in the Pacific. Enter the Fujian, China's third and most advanced aircraft carrier. It represents a quantum leap in Beijing's ability to project power far beyond its own shores. The Fujian is equipped with an electromagnetic aircraft launch system, or EMALS. Previously, this was a technology exclusive to the newest U.S. Ford-class carriers. While the U.S. Ford class remains larger and nuclear-powered, the Fujian is a world-first non-nuclear carrier with EMALS, allowing for faster and heavier aircraft launches. They are building a force designed for one purpose: to push the U.S. Navy out of the first island chain and establish total dominance in the South China Sea. But there is an internal driver for this spending that often gets overlooked: the need for absolute loyalty and combat readiness within the ranks of the PLA. Xi Jinping has spent the last year purging the top brass of the PLA, particularly within the rocket force. High-ranking generals have simply vanished from public view.
China's number 2 general He Weidong and 8 other high-ranking officials have been expelled from the ruling Communist Party on corruption charges. They're the most senior officers to be purged in an anti-graft push that began in 2023. General He was last seen in public in March, and his absence fueled speculation he was under investigation. The Defense Ministry said the 9 men are suspected of financial crimes involving, quote, an extremely large amount of money.
Reports suggest the purge was tied to procurement corruption, including allegations of missiles filled with water instead of fuel. Xi is rooting out any risk of internal failure. This cleaning of the house involves restructuring command chains to ensure the hardware is handled by a force that is politically reliable. Every yuan must buy effectiveness. Globally, Beijing feels increasingly encircled. The formation of AUKUS has convinced China that a Western strategic containment is now fully in play. This has triggered a massive recalibration. Japan is on track to reach 2% of GDP on defense by 2027, abandoning its decades-old post-war spending cap. Japan is acquiring counter-strike capabilities, including Tomahawk missiles. This is a fundamental change in their security posture, aimed directly at deterring Beijing. They are also researching nuclear-powered submarines and boosting their air power to counter the PLA's numerical superiority. The region is rearming at a rapid pace. In the Philippines, the U.S. has gained access to 9 tactical sites, including 3 in northern Luzon facing Taiwan. The alliance is back at its deepest level in decades. Beijing views this as a mini-NATO in the Pacific. In their view, the surge in spending is defensive, a necessary response to a hostile West trying to prevent their rise. The fiscal reality is striking. While local governments struggle with debt and social welfare systems are under pressure, the defense sector is treated as a protected class. The Chinese Communist Party has made a strategic bet. They believe military strength will be more important for party survival than absolute economic performance in the coming decade. The PLA is no longer just catching up. They are now leaders in areas like hypersonic missiles and anti-satellite technology. The 2027 centennial is the immediate milestone. China is now at the forefront of hypersonic technology, weapons that can bypass traditional missile defense systems. This is the culmination of a long-term plan hitting acceleration. They are also developing anti-satellite capabilities designed to blind adversaries by targeting the space-based infrastructure that modern militaries depend on. The ultimate goal is 2049, the 100th anniversary of the People's Republic. By then, China intends to possess a military that can not only challenge but defeat any adversary. This surge in spending is the financial footprint of a superpower ready to challenge the existing global order. It's a shift to a proactive, power projection stance. Beijing is no longer content with coastal defense. They are building the capacity to project power across the globe, challenging the US-led international order. The question for the rest of the world is no longer if China will have the means to reshape the region by force, but when they will decide the investment is ready to be utilized. As we track the undercurrents of this massive buildup, it's clear that the peaceful rise is a chapter that has been firmly closed. We are now in the era of national rejuvenation. This rejuvenation through strength is the engine driving the new reality. The trillion yuan budget is just the financial footprint of this fundamental transformation. This analysis is based on publicly available data and independent strategic reports. For Undercurrent, I'm Josh. If this helped you see things in a new light, hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. The world is moving faster than ever these days. So subscribe to keep exploring the shifts changing our lives and hit that bell so you're always in the loop. Staying informed on the why behind the numbers is crucial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.